What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I am joined, as always, with Keelan. Hey, man, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. Avoiding all the beast out here in the world for sure.
Good. Yeah, you definitely want to do that. Yeah, I guess you're roaming the Serengeti this evening. Uh,
Only in my mind.
Okay, gotcha. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you're having a wonderful evening or whenever you're tuning in with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We are going to be talking tonight about a 2022 film called Beast, which is on Amazon Prime. And let me see here. I didn't bring up the IMDb, but I have it right here. So this came out in 2022. It is directed by Baltasar Kormakur, and it's written by Jamie Primick Sullivan and Ryan Engel, and it stars Liabuya Gongo, Martin Monroe, and Daniel Hadebe. Also is Idris Elba. We have Leah Jeffries and Iana Haley. It's kind of a small cast of people. And the synopsis of this movie is that Idris Elba is a doctor who takes his two daughters, to a trip back to South Africa to visit their mother's village, or sort of the place where she grew up, and also to heal from the loss of the mother as well. And this idyllic trip of family and reconnection gets halted very quickly when a super lion decides to go on a vengeance warpath and wreak havoc. And that's kind of what happens in the movie. Um, so I don't know really if I need to do any spoiler warnings. It's been out for a while now. So I think we're going to be good with that. It is on Amazon Prime. So if you'd like to check it out, you can. Or if you'd like to hear us talk about it, just stay tuned. I'm going to kick it over to Keelan for his first impressions of Beast 2022. What do you think, man?
Yes, indeed. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Had more questions and reservations than I expected, but I can say I enjoyed this. I'm actually looking forward to rating it. I'm not sure, as we talk, we'll get to what we're going to talk about, but I'm looking forward to rating it. I'm not sure why that's the most exciting part for me so far, but that's what I'm really looking forward to. I enjoyed and let me start with this. I enjoy the location. I can't say that all of the cinematic shots on location gave me the same feeling I got from just the awareness of, oh wow, they're shooting this in a South African like place. I don't know if they were actually in South Africa, but just having that thought like this is the picture they're painting, and it was a beautiful landscape. But we didn't get a lot of like just all out nature shots. I expected to see more of that. But as far as the acting and stuff, I no complaints here. I mean,
Yeah,
the lion did a pretty good job.
the line did an excellent job for sure.
I
Uh,
do want to throw in this is also a Will Packer production. I I can't say I am like a huge fan of every movie Will Packer produces, but the dude typically does gold work. Like there's usually no fault in his work, in the work that he puts his name on. Um, so yeah, just something worth noting. Some people that means something, some people it don't.
mm, mhm. Yeah, I kind of went into this movie expecting a certain thing, and I got the thing that I expected. So I don't know if I can say that I'm like disappointed, which I'm not. Um, but can I say that I'm like blown away by it? No. This is a pretty middling movie. It's not terrible. It can be a fun way to, have a movie night or just sort of hang out and watch with somebody. That's pretty fun. But as far as the movie goes, it's a pretty systematic, sort of predictable idea. You get everything given to you pretty easily. Nothing is too mysterious. Um, I think there are certain elements with the lion that were kind of fun. I kind of wish that they had like boosted the um, supernaturalness of the lion a little bit. If I'm being totally honest, I would have really liked to have like the lion be more than just a regular lion.
You want to see a lion
Um,
with thumbs?
I honestly, like, I kept saying while we were watching this, I'm like, oh, super lion. Yeah, like it's just gonna be some crazy mutant super lion that just is indestructible.
Okay, wait.
Which
I have
kind of turned out to be the case, but
yeah,
not as much as I was hoping.
right. I want to ask this question, but then I'll get into my thoughts on the lion and its survival methods later.
Mhm.
Did you expect the lion to be larger than regular lion?
Yes, I was kind of hoping that it would be a
Was it just
little
being
bit
cool?
bigger too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking the same. I was expecting like a megafauna sized
Yeah, that would have been
lion.
kind of cool, honestly. But we have some people watching with us tonight, and we want to make sure that we get your guys' opinion as well. Corey, thanks for tuning in with us. He said
Hooray!
there were some pretty fixable flaws, in my opinion,
Yep.
but I didn't hate it. Yeah,
Yeah, easy
didn't hate
fix.
it either. I think that there were some, again, this isn't going to be like, make or break cinema, but it is a pretty decent monster movie. I guess you could file under a monster movie if you wanted to. We got Big Mike here. What's going on, Big
What up,
Mike?
Mike?
He said he liked it. That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's it.
Okay.
That's
He liked it.
I liked it.
I liked it. I think I liked it. I think. And we have Ayla here tuning in too.
What up,
See,
Ayla?
she says, I thought he got into a case of Red Bull. Yeah, isn't that? I think we were expecting Cocaine Bear or something. Maybe that's why we
Cocaine
were
lion. Oh man,
Cocaine
cocaine
Lion.
bear.
Yeah, we got one more here from Big Mike. Lion that sings with a warthog.
Hey,
Ah,
listen,
see,
listen. He
yeah,
definitely looks like Simba,
yeah,
especially was on the top of Pride Rock at nighttime.
yes. Yeah, so I guess that's my biggest critique is I think that they could have gone into like the B movie genre a little bit more and had it been a little bit more over the top. I think I would actually liked it more, which is kind of
Apex up
funny.
the apex predator. And
Yes.
it's funny you say that. I'm sorry. Wait, are you still going?
No, no, go for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's funny you say that because I think that goes back to my mentioning of this being a Will Packer film, or a film that he is a producer on. Because I don't, he's not the first producer on there, so he's not the an executive. I don't think. My point, um, you have these type of movies like it. I think most of the Will Packer productions have gone to theater, which makes me think this was probably shot in the middle of the pandemic and was expected to go to theater, and then it came out a little too early because they were still playing with the days and the dates. Um, and it ended up. I'm not sure if it went to theater, but I believe it went straight to Amazon. I remember when they were doing the rollout for this movie, and I believe it went straight to Amazon.
I can't be 100% sure, but
I'm
I
not
did.
100% sure either.
I do think that it did have a box office. So let me
It
just double
does.
check here.
Box office of 59 million. But I've
Okay.
learned that having a box office doesn't mean that they were shown nationwide. Even
Oh yeah,
a lot of
limited
times,
release.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could be in limited releases. So it's like,
Mhm.
oh, you're on 200 screens across the country, and that brought you in 59 million. Like that's a big payoff for however many screens. Because I highly doubt this was a
No, I don't think
national theater.
I definitely don't think it was. It came out in August 2022, and
Yeah.
its opening weekend did 11 million. Its budget was 36, and it grossed worldwide 59 million. So it
Mm,
didn't. I mean, I get there was probably very little in the marketing, but even the marketing, you're supposed to like take like half of the budget and add it. So you got to think if it's a $39 million budget, then you're adding, something like 20 million on top of
on
that.
top.
Yeah. So you got probably about 60 million and it only made 59. So it's kind of a wash of $1 million.
Yeah.
Um,
Which and at the end of the day, you broke even. That's really what comes out of that.
yeah. Yeah. If you're
If
lucky, you broke
Yeah,
even.
I was just about to
Yeah.
say, I'm like, if you're lucky, because we're only talking about film and marketing costs and distribution. We're not talking about paying the actors. We're not talking about location and
Oh yeah.
crew,
Yeah.
catering. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I do want to note something I read and I almost forgot it for a moment. Is this is loosely based on a true story um of man-eating lions that attacked road workers, I think in like 1988 or something like that. It's 86.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
I
Kenya. So
believe it.
it's
Yeah.
supposed to be based on something that actually happened in the region. I know that it doesn't say we're in Kenya, but it does say we're in South Africa. And I think that's their way of kind of not treading too hard on the original story. So maybe they
Mhm.
don't have to, and I hate to say it this way, but this is a reality. So maybe they don't have to pay likeness rights, but still get to tell the story.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's not unreasonable to place a sort of lion in any part of Africa and have it be
That's what I
fine.
thought. That's what I
Uh,
thought.
yeah, it
And I'll
could be
say that
anywhere.
before we jump into the storyline, I thought there were a couple of bad decisions made by the family, and
Just a couple.
and I think they tried to absolve it by, oh, but we're in Africa, so they're out of their element and they're in Africa. You know, I'm just
Hmm.
gonna say no. I'm not. We don't even have to elaborate. If you get it, you get it. I know you do.
Yeah. So maybe I'll carve this into sort of quarters. So the first quarter of the movie is Nate and his two daughters, which were Mare and
Nora,
Nora. Thank you. I forgot the young one's name.
named after one of my favorite singers.
There you go. Mare and Nora they're all on their way to South Africa to sort of have a, I guess you would say, like a healing vacation almost,
Mhm.
because we find out that the mother, Amalie,
Yeah,
Amalie,
Amalia,
yeah,
something like that.
um, she passed away a year prior, and so the whole family's having a hard time of it. Obviously, um, it seems like Nate and her were divorced when she was sick, and he wasn't around, and the daughters was kind of resent her for that. So they're
Resent
doing
him for that.
this. Yeah, they're doing this sort of pilgrimage to go back to where she grew up, so that they could feel connected to her, which is like a decent enough idea. I think it's something that we've seen before for sure.
Hmm.
Um, but that's all to say that they eventually arrive there, and they have sort of a friend receive them named Martin, and he is going to take them out on a safari. And yeah, so let's just talk about up until the safari point.
Cool deal.
Um, what do you think?
Well, we can start with the entrance of the poachers at the very beginning before we
Yes,
then
yes,
go
the
down to the
origin
safari.
story of the
Yeah,
lion.
because I think that is such a pivotal, like that scene. Without that begin that first off, I'm glad that started the movie one. Because they could have also started this with us like just going through like the wake or something like right after the funeral of the wife, right, or the mom. But instead, they start us at the poachers, and then the first thing we see of them is them flying in. But sorry about that.
Mhm.
So, the poachers. At first, I was like, "Dang, why did we really have to see that? Like, we already kind of understood." But to realize that this lion's entire pride was taken out by a poacher group, and then it was wounded and left. If you want to know how to really, really, really turn something's brain, human or not, turn something's brain to the max level of predator nature, take its family and then hurt it and let it live.
Yeah, I think it was kind of hokey that the lion had a vendetta,
Oh,
but I think
straight one.
it's super, it's relatable because we're human and we would
Yeah,
feel that way if we were the lion. Um,
that
I
thought so
would
as
have
well.
I would have kind of preferred it had the poachers, because they're all with like machine guns,
Yeah.
mowing down lions. I would have preferred it if on the back of their Humvee or something they had like a barrel of toxic chemicals, and then the one lion gets away, they shoot and they hit the barrel and it explodes, and these toxic chemicals get onto the lion, and that's what
Mm.
turns them into a super killer lion. That would have been good. um,
Hey,
I'm just
we
looking,
could
I'm
write
looking for
that.
some Hulk aspect. I'm looking for
Yeah,
some,
I'm gonna
like
say we could write that
unstoppable
Godzilla spinoff.
Terminator aspect here.
That is wow. I don't know. Wow. I feel like we just watched an episode of Zoo just listening to you say that.
Yeah, I just was looking for just a little bit more than just like, oh, he's super pissed that these poachers, uh, you know.
Yeah, and I understand that because it added a very I guess personified or a human element to the lion, and it was easy to track. In my opinion, I think that's why they stuck to it. It was easy to track the fact that you took everything that this lion knows, and like you said, that's how humans think. I don't think that's how a lion would actually react. But the
Oh no, of
injured,
course not.
right? I'm like, but later when Martin brings up the fact that it's injured, that part actually makes sense because what do they say? A hit dog, a holler.
Yeah, a wounded animal can be dangerous, but they're not going to go out and like Kill Bill
You know, it's not
style.
gonna go hunting.
And
If
then,
it's
like,
This is the only movie I've ever seen where the injured animal is the one that goes hunting. Usually, it is like you were saying, something that's been manipulated or changed by science, and now it just can't stop killing.
I was thinking, I was getting Deep Blue Sea vibes. Do you remember that?
Oh,
I
yes, I
love that
do.
movie.
Did you know that's a? Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
But like a genetically engineered shark that just like way too smart for its own good. I like
mhm.
that stuff.
Dolphin,
Corey,
dolphin brain and a shark.
there you go. Exactly. Corey says, I think that it's a weak anthropomorphization. Yes. Ghost in the Darkness did it better, explaining lions getting the taste for men as prey. I don't
Mm,
think predatory animals have revenge motives. No, they
yeah,
certainly
that
don't.
part no, yeah, not at all. And you
They
know what? The
definitely don't.
having the taste for for human flesh, I left that part out, but that was something else I thought about. Listen, if I done got a couple of poachers and y'all done got my whole pride, yeah, I ain't never tasted no meat this good.
Yeah.
But the revenge part, I can see, and that's the thing. So I'm actually with both of you on this. If it were only attacking humans that came into its territory, we're fine. It's
Yeah.
chasing, it's following, it's
Yes.
hunting. It has human nature essentially.
Yes, yeah, it's absolutely acting like a human, which that's why I'm saying tip the scale, tip
Mhm.
it a little bit further because I'm totally on board with you. If you want to have this lion have a vendetta, but let's
Mhm.
have it be like a lion you don't want to fuck with, a lion that's
Right.
playing games
Something
with you.
chemically changed its brain,
Yeah.
not just its hormones.
Yes. Right.
You
Exactly.
know, I get that, and again, that does make sense simply because if you're gonna be if it's not extravagant, if you're gonna be excessive, be overly excessive.
Right.
Don't just go to the brink of excessiveness and stop at the E.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that that's a little bit of a takeaway. Unfortunately, it's just that the lion was way too normal, but it was
Mhm.
also
That line was
capable
clever
of
as hell.
yeah, it was capable of setting traps, but also yeah, it had a vengeance plot and all of that.
It you know what? But I will say this. I think what they did there is they utilized a cat's nature. The nature of a cat is curiosity, which means they watch a lot. So the insinuation was that it learned from us, the poachers at least. One thing that I caught was so the lion understands English and all the other languages.
It's a super lion. This is why we needed that element because I could believe it otherwise. I just can't believe it if it's just a normal lion that got its pride murdered. It would limp away and then get picked at by hyenas the next
Yeah.
day.
And mind you,
Like,
we're still at the beginning when the poachers get at it. It's like it
right,
almost shouldn't have made it out of there, or none of the poachers should have made it out. One of the two.
right, yeah.
Um,
But if none of that happens, then we don't have a movie. So we have to
yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
have to
we're harping on stuff that didn't happen.
we have to let the lion's family get murdered. So the lion's
Right.
family gets murdered. Then
So
that's when we
then we see
cut to
them
the
flying
trip
in.
to South
Yeah,
South Africa. Yeah.
we see them flying into South Africa. Was it Mopani?
Yes, I believe it. Yes, it
I didn't
was.
write it down. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But yeah, the village their mother is from is where they end up going. Brother Martin. At this, I called him Brother Martin through most of the movie because it was like he was Brother Martin.
Mhm.
Um, Brother Martin was. Oh damn it! I just realized why I shouldn't say that. Oh well. Um, the brother named Martin.
Yes.
He was a friend of the wife. Um, went to university with Nate and introduced the two of them. I
Mhm.
appreciate, and I want to say this right now. I appreciate how they made it very clear that no, excuse me, that Martin and the wife were very close. They grew up together. They were almost like brother and sister, but they never alluded to any inappropriateness. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That
I was kind
is,
of worried that that might have been a part
mhm.
of the characterization, but
I was afraid that was going to happen.
I'm glad that they didn't go that route. Yeah.
Yeah, that really made me happy. Now it didn't make me happy as to when I realized it wasn't going to come up because when but it made me glad that they didn't do that in this movie. But they come in, and then of course they get to Martin's place. I love that opening shot when they first enter into his door and you see down that long hallway. That was beautiful. That
Hmm.
was a great shot. Great
Yeah.
style. Great style choice. Wow, why am I having a stutter problem today?
Yeah, and he has like a Spanish style hacienda that has
Mhm.
like
In the
a,
middle of Africa.
inner courtyard, and it's very idyllic. It's very, beautiful. It's in South Africa, so you have this very paradisical type feel to it for
Mhm.
sure.
Would quaint be the word?
It's rustic and yeah, maybe a little bit quaint for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I have on my paper that it was pleasant to see that and that it was a beautiful shot on the entrance. But yeah, the home was beautiful in general. Even when they, well, wait, yeah, because that's before the, even when they go, and Nate and Martin are having that discussion over the bottle, over the last bottle, and they're talking about everything. I appreciated two things early in this movie. I did not appreciate the initial, like, damn, he drunk already? All right. But the way that played out and how it made him vulnerable and it made him want to not only open up to Martin, who he hasn't seen in the X amount of time, we don't know what that duration of time is, um, but also how in his inebriation, he still had the wherewithal to understand where he had done wrong by his family.
Hmm. Yeah, of
That was
course.
a, to me, I like the way they did that.
Yeah, because he's a well-adjusted man, and it's such a quaint thing to see sometimes when you see a well-adjusted man talk
Mhm.
about his feelings and own up to his bullshit, right?
Right. No,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. Because through this
Like,
movie, you see a lot of his bullshit. Like, look,
yeah.
I'll say this now. He seemed like a great man, not the
Mhm.
greatest of parents, and probably not the greatest of husbands.
Maybe a bit absent,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, just as far as being because he was a doctor, so I
Yeah.
assume it's because he was working all the damn time
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I mean, it's not even a
just
shot
wasn't
at him. I
around.
think that's just how the character was painted for us to
Yeah,
see him be vulnerable and understand the depths of all of the relationships quick.
yeah. In reference to Martin, Corey says they should have gone into some sense of him being the anti-poacher. Yeah, maybe showed a scene of him shooting at and killing some of the poachers. It's just an aside, and that's too underdeveloped. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree, and I think that it's really ultimately only for the points where they recognize him in the back of the van. Like,
Yeah.
there's no other reason for him to be an anti-poacher.
Which almost doesn't make sense also, because if you know the anti poacher, why would you, like, it's just weird.
Yeah, I mean
It's,
that would have
it's
been
like when,
wrapped.
right.
I
It's like
mean,
when to me, it's like when, and this is just something I've actually seen before. When somebody is like, when they know they're arresting officer before they get arrested.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. It's
yeah.
that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be that acquainted.
Right, right. Yeah, I thought maybe at some point he was going to be revealed to be like a poacher too, or something like that.
Something
Um,
I thought, yeah, I thought there was gonna be a nastier side to Martin as well.
yes, I guess I've been jaded from movies. I'm like, okay, this guy can't just be a good guy, right? You can't
Fair
just have
enough.
him be a decent guy, you
I
know?
agree. I could share that sentiment because I realized something. We got something in this movie, and that's why I was so happy that they didn't do that to Martin and the wife. We got something in this movie that I've been wishing we would get in movies for a while, and we just haven't gotten it lately. Friendship, real, genuine friendship. Nothing
Mhm.
extra. No
Yeah,
hate, no animosity, no drama. Just love and friendship.
yeah, 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 exactly. Modernity has made us all softies, that's for sure. We're
Ouch.
all just craving authenticity.
God.
Um, yeah.
I'm with you there. Let's see. So before we get out, oh yeah, so basically they have that talk. He opens up about separating, about his relationship with his daughters, and how he really feels like he's failed his family. Nate does, and
Mhm.
I appreciate something that Martin did in that when he was basically stating that Martin never tried to talk him off of his hill or talk him off of his box. He allowed him to go through the emotion, to share where he was, and he simply lent an ear because he knows that Nate doesn't hate himself. He don't hate his kids. He just realizes he could have done better.
Mhm.
And when you've already voiced that, what more does somebody need to say other than here's a new gun?
Yeah, he's clearly suffering from the regret as it is. So you don't need to rub salt in the wound, that's for sure.
Well, you could
Um,
also tell by that they don't live in America.
yeah. So they go on their safari the next day, and originally it's going quite nice. They're seeing some
Wait, pause,
animals.
pause,
Yes,
back up. Why are we going on safari again
I
with
don't
the
know.
anti-poacher? That clearly Nate knew was an anti-poacher.
I don't know because he
Okay,
knows the
just making sure.
area. I guess I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. No, 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 no. You're right. You're right. And
Yeah,
because he is so what I just thought about something that did he did say. What I realized is he probably didn't start as a game warden. He started on the other side. And remember, there was a point where Nate said that was a different life for him as well. Last time he was in South Africa, so I'm thinking that's what they originally did, and then Martin over time became a game warden and kind of a part of the solution and less of the problem. Because if you're not,
I just thought he
you
was a
know,
groundskeeper that
because
ultimately ended up having to fight off poachers.
you thought his name was Willie and he wore a kilt.
Yeah, there's a lot of groundskeepers out, that are like protecting the preserve, but all they
Oh, for
really
sure.
do is, like pick up scat and look for poachers. That's it.
Hmm.
Um, Speaking of, Ayla here has wants to remind us of another good friendship movie, RRR.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Thank you
that
for
was a
that.
good one.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Man, I want to say RR is almost a year ago now. Eh?
Yeah, it was almost a whole year for sure. It's been a
Jeez.
while, man.
Can't be that long
Um,
between good friendship movies, but thank you for that reminder.
right. Yeah. So they go on their safari and everything's going hunky dory. Lots of nice pictures and things are super cool. And then they decide that they have to make a stop. Martin needs to make a stop to go check on, I don't know, what was he originally going to do up there? Like check a radio or something? Radio in?
First, they were going to see, on a safari, they saw the lions. As they were leaving from there, he was just going by the village just to stop in, just to check on people. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was nothing important. It was just like, oh, I'm just gonna stop by, check on some
Right,
people, see how
right.
things are doing. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. Um, I forgot. It was something they saw though. Oh no, they didn't discover that till they get into the village, and then the moment they get into the village, that's really when the movie begins.
Right, because their village is quite quiet when they arrive, and there's doesn't seem to be
Quiet.
anybody around. And they look around and ultimately find that in one of the main houses is a whole bunch of the villagers that have been slaughtered, and they've just been sitting there rotting.
Hmm.
Um,
It seemed like the
for
bodies were drug in there. No,
I
some
mean,
of them.
maybe that, or maybe they were all together eating at some point, and that the lion just took them all out while they were together. But
Hmm.
maybe the lion was dragging bodies. It's possible.
Possible, but I just realized what could have happened is when the lion first attacked, it went straight into that particular hutch. There was enough people in there to take up time while other people were getting away, and then
Right,
some of the rest of them just got caught further out
right, yeah.
because he
So
wasn't eating, so he was still hungry. He was really just killing.
he's just he just had a bone to pick with humans,
Mhm.
and he didn't care that it was that he killed the villagers. He really, because this movie lets us know that a lion knows his true enemy, and
He
his
knows
true
his true
enemy
enemy,
is not just the poachers, but humanity
human in general.
itself.
Yep. Yes, indeed. And okay, no, I remember why he was going to the village. He was going to the village to radio in a call and to just check and see if they've seen anything like any poachers passing through the area because the lioness that at the pride they went
Oh,
to
she had
was
a hurt
injured.
paw. Yeah,
Yeah, and he
that's
said
right.
it looks like a bullet wound.
Mm-hmm. Corey asked, "So is it the poachers came from that village?" No, I don't think
No,
so.
no, no.
So like again, the
I think the
movie,
poachers were a threat to that village as well.
yeah, the movie particularly says that the lion knows who its true enemy is, and it's all of humanity. It's
Yeah.
not just the poachers. That's why it's indiscriminate in its killing.
So it's so clever, basically, Corey. It's so clever that it can set traps and fool us and all of these things, but it's not clever enough to know who actually attacked. Oh shit, that sounds like society.
Yeah, it's clever enough to fall into existential nihilism, but not clever enough to find its way out. So,
Hey,
so
Will
Lion's
Packer,
like,
I
screw
see
this.
you,
This
dog.
doesn't matter anymore. Life is
Right?
stupid and meaningless.
Stu- just shake his fur off. Oh,
Yeah.
I know this. Never mind. No, I'll share that later. No, I'll say it now. I didn't know a buck can shake its horns off, or a moose can shake its horns off. I just found that out like 2 days ago. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
all antlered animals.
Genius.
They shed like it's so gross because like bucks will do it. They like whole horns fall off of their
Just fall
head
off.
and just all bloody and stuff. It's
And
gross.
it's a
Yeah.
violent thing they do. They don't like hurt themselves, but it looks so violent.
Hmm. Uh,
Not sure why I
so
thought of it right now.
I don't know, animals, weird stuff. Nature is metal. Um, so the
Interesting.
lion has killed everybody in the village, and this is when everybody starts to freak out. So they decide that they have to go back, or they have to, go try to find somebody. They have to go get help. So they got a radio. They have to go because it's South Africa. There is not a reliable radio. They have to go find one of the outposts. That's not too far from the village, but far enough for it to be a problem. In order to radio in for some help to help rescue more villagers. Of course,
Mhm.
they are waylaid before they get to the outpost by a man who has been attacked. But that just seems to have been bait for from the lion, because the
Yep.
lion is right there waiting for more people to kill.
Hmm.
So that's pretty good.
Right. I thought it was really cool how the dude was like, I don't know if you caught it, but the dude was really telling them don't go.
Hmm.
The guy that was dying, I forget his name right now, but he was literally like, no, 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 go back,
Right,
go back,
back in
like
the car.
don't go. And he kept
Keep
saying
saying that.
devil. He's like, what? He was saying what he's saying. He's like, what is he saying? Like, what does it mean? Devil, devil. Like, bro, he's saying it's the damn devil cat.
Right. How
El
much more do you
Chupacabra,
need?
if he spoke
He's
Spanish, like shit.
Yeah, he's bleeding out. Just take his word for it, I guess, right? You might want to. Corey says, I
Eh,
definitely didn't buy the younger daughter running off on her own in the strange village. I was like, nope. Yeah,
Man,
agreed. Yeah, that
listen,
that was a very odd scene too, because it didn't necessarily even need to happen.
hey, Corey, I just want to say this. That's one of the moments where I was like, family mistake number one. We wasn't raised like that.
Yeah, what are you doing walking off somewhere?
That is I'll say it this way, actually. I'll say the two things I'm thinking. That ain't black and that ain't American. Explain.
What's going on here?
Double negative right there for me. Like, hold on, wait. Okay. Again, we're in Africa, so can we blame it on the black side? Maybe. But then you can't blame it on the American side.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they were thinking. It's like the director just like plucked her from where she was and then put her somewhere else and was like, "This is where
Fir-
you're going to be now."
First world people out in the safari going into caverns. Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. And
I'm surprised they
it
weren't
wasn't even like
complaining and
she
spraying more
was.
off or ouch or whatever as they call it, off or ouch. I forget. I think it's
I
called
mean,
off.
the sister literally was with her, so she had to have slipped away within a second
I thought she
in
got
order.
yanked.
Maybe, right?
No, like originally, I thought she got yanked, and I was like, "Oh, that's how we doing it."
Oh, I think that that's why the scene exists, right? Because you
True, it's
want
a good
to
mistake.
be like, "Oh no, is the daughter taken already?"
Bruh,
Um,
that would have been. You want to see it? You want to see Idris Elba? I'm sorry. You want to see Nathaniel go into Hulk mode? He'd been like, "I don't have to be James Bond. Watch me go save my kids."
it's gonna be Taken 3, taken by a lion. I mean, Idris Elba needed a silencer, needed a pistol. Like that, yeah. They
Fair.
did not have enough firearms, that's for sure.
No, I will say I appreciated that about this movie, the fact that they weren't over inundated with firearms to take this line out. We'll get to the part I didn't like so much later.
Yes.
Um,
So Corey here he says, he's like, yeah. So Martin's like, I'm going to go hunt this man-eating lion by myself. Yes,
by myself with one trank dart.
he did the Jurassic Park thing, right? He did the guy
Yeah.
that the
Oh my God,
raptor
yes.
hunter dude that yeah, like sees the raptors in the forest and is like, I'm gonna go over here.
I'll be as quiet as you need me to over here.
Right? Why would you think that you could just do that? It killed an entire village of people. Maybe you want to, not
Man,
play in its territory, but that's what he decides to do. And he
look,
comes across this altar that the lion has somehow created, where it's got some Blair Witch
I saw
bones
that.
hanging from it. It's got some, yeah. So the
So
lion is doing something. It's
so
creating like a black magic thing going on.
right. So watch this. So when I saw that, at first I thought I was tripping, and then I was like, no, that's a dog. I won't say
Yeah.
voodoo or not because I don't know, but it was some level of a black magic, right?
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, oh, maybe it's not the killing and all of that. Maybe someone cursed this lion and it's possessed by a demonic entity, and that's what we're
I like
supposed to
that
believe.
too.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Demon lion. I'm
Hmm.
for it. Yes.
Because the
Yes.
dude
But
did call it a devil.
I mean, like he legit, the lion has an altar. It's a tree that has
Yeah.
these hangings of all of its kills, and it's got
Yep.
like a skull here and a,
Tied to
thing.
the tree.
Yeah, a doll of bones hanging from
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. I
Oh
saw it as
man.
well, and it
Yeah.
got. And I think it was like when you first see it when Martin's there after he's gotten his leg maimed a little.
Hmm.
When you first see it, it's like, oh, okay, like whatever. But when you see it a little later and you see the movement of it, and it's like, all right, come on now, what we doing?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing else to glean from it that the movie gives you except for that this lion made an altar
Uh
where
huh.
he was keeping his trophies.
Right. I would have liked to see that what it really was it was say like the area of a witch doctor, and
Mhm.
that one of the lion's first kills was the witch doctor.
I'd be cool with that. Any introduction of a supernatural element would have put this movie up maybe a couple points for me, for
Mm,
sure. Just because if you're gonna do the monster thing, let's just get as crazy as we can.
mhm.
I'm okay with that, you know.
Yeah, go over the top.
Um,
I agree. Like I will say that as time and time again through this, they definitely could have done more with the lion. They could have made us like, all right, come the fuck on, at least once.
right.
They made it a little too believable. I firmly agree, and to the point of which you almost knew what was going to attract it.
Yeah, yeah. It was like they wanted to play the dance of like, okay, this is just a regular lion, but there's also like these weird things it's doing.
Right.
Which again, I think that they could have just leaned heavy into the crazy, and I would have been totally fine with that.
Man, listen, if this was one of those movies where the apex predator just murders everybody and it walks off into the sunset as we roll credits, I would have been down.
Right, you could have done that. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Corey says, I think they should have been clear with he was going to find people from the village he knew were hiding somewhere or something like that. Yeah, like if
Yeah.
when he
They
went out to go confront the lion.
Well, they
Um,
they tried to make it seem like that's what he was doing, was he was still looking for people he knew, but they only referenced it after the fact. After it was
right.
already a bad idea to be out there is when they kind of referenced it.
Hmm.
Because and that was after they found I really want to say I remember his name, but I don't, so I'm trying not to say what I'm thinking because I know it's wrong or I believe it's wrong. But after he found him, and then he's like, I know these people. I have to go and look for them. I know they're women and children. And, bruh, they're women and children. They're dead.
Yeah, unfortunately, and this lion isn't eating them, so the
Mm-mm.
bodies you'll find the bodies
Going
eventually.
straight for the arteries.
Probably under its trophy tree. You were probably sitting on the bodies.
Man. And
Uh,
some of those bones were quite old. So it made me wonder how long had this been going on too.
apparently one day, because the poachers
That's
had
the second.
killed the lion's
The
pride
night
the night
before.
before. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's a
maybe
long
this
24 hours.
maybe this was just a super smart lion the entire time, and he was doing his own thing, and you really messed with like the Liam Neeson of lions.
I mean, and I think that's what I think they were really trying to play on the whole intelligence of a cat.
Right, right, of course.
And especially because big cats are supposed to be even smarter because their brains are bigger.
Yeah, yeah. This is where everything sort of falls apart. Martin is wounded under the tree. It looks like his femoral artery is severed. He's losing a lot of blood. This is sort of where Idris Elba's character has to kick in because he is a doctor.
Yeah.
And he knows how to dress wounds and field dress and stuff like that. So he's able to use his expertise to talk Martin over the walkie to cauterize the wound, and they decide that they need to go find him, but only after he lets one of the daughters drive them off of a cliff.
Hmm. Well, no. Into a tree on a cliff. They
Right.
hadn't gone off the cliff yet. And um let's remember, they were all told to stay in the vehicle.
Yes.
But their first world instincts kept kicking in and they thought they knew better.
Yeah.
Just calling
Yeah.
it what it
Nobody
is.
stayed in the vehicle.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
stayed in the vehicle. Not the youngest daughter, not the dad.
Mm-mm.
Bad family dynamics. Somebody's got to live, damn it. But him getting out alone, you put your family in danger, you put yourself in danger. Then not having the wherewithal to know, hey, you just left a window down.
Yeah.
The fact that his entire foot didn't get chomped off is a miracle.
I mean, he definitely got bit up. That's for sure. His leg got bit up.
It should have been worse than what he showed.
It should have been way worse for sure. I mean, by the time that because the lion actually does grab his leg by the mouth, I was like, oh, that's it. You're done.
No, it grabs it by the mouth, and all of a sudden it has it with the two paws like this, and it's like, hold on now.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, he had a whole chunk of his leg in its mouth, and I was like, "Oh, you're done then.
You're done.
Game over."
But he had a few chunks of him in his mouth on multiple occasions, and it did nothing.
I know Idris Elba is immune to kitty scratches. So,
hey man, what happens when you lather up in baby oil after every shot?
Hey, look, he's got some good muscles. I can believe it. And we'll talk about the scene at the end where I'm just like, all right, that's cool. See, I could have taken more of that. I needed more of that.
I thought it was weird that the daughter and Bonji had that little moment, but they didn't play on it too much. And I realized that they only had that moment so that they can have her have the photographic memory to put the sniper rifle or the trank rifle together.
Yeah, it's a nice little detail of like, okay, how are they going to know how to do this? Well, the daughter was paying attention, and if you pay attention, you can pick up things pretty easily. Yeah, so I'm glad that she had the wherewithal to know that part of it. Corey says one of the biggest problems for me was the constant narrow focus camera framing, where the lion is always in the periphery. Like people in the story keep losing sight of it. That's another note. I agree, and I think it's only because this is a very low budget movie, and they probably couldn't do enough CGI to make the lion look good. There were some moments where you definitely were like, "Oh, that's a CGI lion for sure." Yeah. Not in the good way.
Right? Yeah, not in a good way.
Yeah,
they made an effort. Something I noticed to keep having things about the same coloration of the lion somewhere in the background to throw you off.
Yes, yeah, because they wanted to give him like predator like camouflage.
I was just about to say they wanted to make it seem like this is his environment, which it is. It is. We're in a safari or in the Sahara, so we're on safari.
Yes, we're on safari. Corey says Jurassic Park did way better with those choices, showing that people were always aware where the predators were and whether. Yeah, well, Jurassic Park did a million things better. The original, obviously. Yes, but it's interesting is that there are elements of this that do remind me of Jurassic Park, not in like a way of like, oh, that's as good as Jurassic Park,
best ways,
but in an homage sort of sense. The car hanging off of the tree definitely felt like Jurassic Park. Martin going off to go hunt the lion definitely felt like Jurassic Park. So I think there was some homages being played, just not the greatest.
Right. I want to say another note for me is our wildlife expert, aka Martin, being the dumbest person in the group.
Yeah, he really shouldn't have been.
But he was.
He was, yes. I mean, he was dumb in that he went out and got himself in.
And you're the expert. Like the expert should definitely be the one that's like, all right, let's get out of here.
Yes.
Not, true. You stay here. I'm gonna go into the bush.
Yeah.
Bro, what? Hey, yeah, you go into the bush. Throw me them keys, partner.
Notice how the other dude, the guy that put together the trank rifle, avoided the whole conflict altogether. You know why? Because he didn't go there.
Because that's his homeland, and he know what's going down.
Because he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go hang back with all the people in civilization. Give me a call when you need me."
Man, went back. He went so far back, he had no radio signal, and then was like, "Hey, they ain't responding to him, and I need a couple of y'all.
I should go check on him." Yeah. So what else? Let's see. They make it to Martin, or at least Mare does.
Yeah, Mare makes it to Martin.
She again breaks the rules. Kids. Yes.
I mean, and here's the part that I dislike about that. Don't have her make such a poor decision, and I'm supposed to be okay with it because she brung her uncle back. How did they carry the guy with the torn up leg that couldn't even stand back to the cruiser or the truck? How'd that happen?
Agreed. I mean, like it's a very
strong ass teenager.
She's very strong. She was able to help hobble Martin back to the truck, however far that was.
$170, 5'8", something like that.
Yeah. But of course, like she had to be successful so that it wouldn't be an issue. But um, yeah, they
Yeah,
finally get Martin back into the truck, and that's where Idrisel
he
was
gets
able to
patched
do
up.
a little bit more field dressing, give him sutures, and disinfect the wound. And it looks like Martin's going to pull through. Hey, that's great. Um, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Mhm. He
So
had to stay around for a little bit.
yeah, maybe just a few more minutes. And then this is where what night happens, and then poachers.
Yes, but right before that, they're talking about Nate wanting to go for, trying to get out. It's only a few miles, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
and him and Martin making a point to Nate that once you're out there with no weapon, it's just you and him, and that is not a fight you are designed for.
Yes, you're in his territory now.
Man, that was a critical line. Just the
Yes.
verbiage of that. It's not a
Yeah.
fight you're designed for. That's different than saying that's not a fight you're prepared for.
Oh yeah, it's just a losing battle, basically. Yeah.
Like, first off, I don't know if I want to be prepared to fight a lion to begin with, but if I got to be prepared, please don't tell me that I'm not designed for it. Like, I can't prepare if I'm not designed for it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Corey says here the whole time Nora was sitting with her back to the broken window, I was expecting the lion to snatch her out of the truck. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And I'm glad that Mare got a little bit of that when she was sitting next to
Yep.
the open window,
And she
because
deserved it.
yeah, that was dumb.
Because she's
Yeah.
supposed to be the older one, so you're supposed to be the closest to a protector, and you're like, that's where I understand in Nate's character, in him, feeling how he felt towards his upbringing of his children and his lack of presence. I think in his mind, the some of the decisions they made wouldn't have been made because he would have taught them differently.
Yeah, it definitely felt to me like Mare was the more stunted of the two, even though she
Hmm.
was older. Nora felt like she was a little bit more um, better adjusted, maybe.
Yeah, more grounded.
Um,
She didn't
yes,
have to witness the drama and the separation. She was there for
she
it,
was
but
too
it
young
wasn't.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she still has a little level of innocence and sort of like giving her dad the benefit of the doubt, whereas Mare is the teenager that doesn't want to, you
right.
know,
To where her father has to tell her how much he misses their mom and what it really meant. I don't have to tell you that.
yeah, it should be self-evident, but whatever.
You
That's
hear it,
teenagers
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, we've
uh,
all been there, so we ain't blaming her too hard.
yeah. So they have this thing where the at night the poachers come back and
Mhm.
they come across the truck and everybody's in the truck and we're like, oh no, what's going to happen now?
Right.
Um,
And it seems
then
like
we
they gonna
get
help.
yeah, right. I mean, and so we get Nate comes out to talk to the poachers and he's like, help, we just need some help. And they're like, can you pay us? And he's like, yeah, I can pay you. So they make this agreement that they're going to go drop off their equipment and then come pick them back up. But of course, the poachers have to look inside and see who's in the car. And
Mhm.
that's when they see Martin and they say, no deal. That's an anti poacher. He's
Right.
killed a couple of my guys already. And so everything goes south, but then you get a lion ex machina right at the last moment because they were about to take Nora away, and
Right.
the lion was like, "Hey, hey, hey, not today!" and starts mauling everybody in the middle of the night.
Right. And to be clear, for those who see this movie and they're like, well, they only asked for 5,000 USD. Um, if they do rands or rupees, I want to say that's like 9,200. Like,
Also, they're just
or
interested in making a quick buck, anyways. So if it's
yeah,
just a matter of taking these people back to the village, who cares?
yeah.
It's not like they were originally planning on paying their ransom or like or putting them up for ransom or something like that.
Mhm.
So um you know one way ticket for $5,000, not bad,
No,
that's for
no, no.
sure. Corey asks, why would the poachers just happen to cross the wrecked truck? Isn't it off the road, just
Not
off the road
quite.
enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they were going to the vehicle itself. I think they were going back to the grounds where they knew the lion were. I think they were going back to look for the lion.
They were going back to the trophy tree.
Yeah.
That's
Because they
where
knew all of
that's
that was there. That's where they
yeah.
were literally the night before.
Yeah, and that's where they end up anyway. So
Mhm.
they're back at the trophy tree. So the lion jacks up the poachers in the middle of the night. And Nate's like, this is our opportunity. We can take one of their trucks and we get the hell out of here, which is a great idea. I'm glad that he thought to do that. But the
You
problem
should have
is
tried to hotwire it.
he should have tried to hotwire it, or Martin should have. But the problem is that unlike every other movie in history, the keys are not in the glove compartment or in the top visor. So
That was
he's got to
very
go
video
find the
game-esque.
keys.
Yeah, that was very Last of Us of them.
Yes, fetch quest. Oh, you got to go here. Oh, wait, we forgot to tell you. You got to go back across the map to go get
But
another
wait,
thing.
there's more.
Yeah, so Nate has to go find the guy with the yellow shirt because he's the one that took
That
the
dude was
keys.
wearing a yellow and green shirt, but yeah.
And of course, within the matter of about 4 minutes, this guy managed to get across like 5 miles of distance or something like that, because it takes Nate a long time to track him down.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to go through this mangrove where the trophy tree is, and he has to kind of play this cat and mouse game with the cat and mouse game with the lion. And finally, he gets to the guy with the yellow shirt and takes the keys. And thankfully, also takes the gun, listening to what Martin says to him before he leaves. Because there was a moment where he wasn't going to take the gun.
Oh yeah, huh? Like, oh yeah, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He did say something to me before I left. So they finally get the keys, but the problem is that on his way back, the lion attacks the truck again. And this time, Mare gets a little bit of it because she's sitting in the seat with the broken window, and she gets clipped a little in the ribs. But the biggest problem is that the lion is so crazy that it manages to push the truck fully off the cliff right after the girls get out of it with Martin, right?
Martin in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, this is one of those moments where the lion's so smart. Did you see what the lion did? It came to one side, it goes across, it challenges from the front of the windshield, it goes off, it acts as if it's gonna leave. Martin's like, I'm watching it.
Back.
I'm watching it. And it literally did the same thing it did when it was getting Nate. When Nate thought it was leaving and he reached for the gun and it turned around and just sprinted back at him. Did the same thing, just got to run and start so it can get further in the window. It's like, that's a smart ass lion.
Yes.
Now, to be clear, if we go on YouTube, we'll find some safari videos that make you wonder how far-fetched is some of that shit.
I've seen it on Open Doors before.
That part right
they
there,
know
that's
the latch.
exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yes, because they watch us and they do learn from us. So there's some things that even
sometimes it's just dumb luck too, but it works. Right.
Sometimes I wonder, like the bear who high fives, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like those Russian bears that wave.
Yeah.
Of course. And so he keeps losing sight of the lion, and he keeps getting surprised by it. Yeah. And the walkie-talkie, of course, is turned on to max volume. Yes.
The walkie-talkie that he just squished into the mud that still works somehow is turned up to the max until he's right under it. And luckily, they don't call him in that moment.
Oh, yeah. You would have think that maybe you just turned the channel off if you didn't want them to be squawking.
Turn the volume down. That's why there's two rotating knobs on the top of it. It was that was annoying. That was severely annoying.
He says the biggest problem is the girls weren't huddled down in the back and quiet, so they were just drawing the lines. Yes,
exactly.
Just like the kids in Jurassic Park,
right? Well,
drawing the T-Rex's attention.
Right. Remember, Mare was like leaning on the horn because Dad wasn't on the radio. Like, ma'am, that's not what you do.
Right. And he's only, I mean, I don't know how long he'd been gone, but in the movie, he's only been gone for a few minutes.
Like 10 minutes was the agreement.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to chill until 10 minutes pass.
Right.
But truthfully, her honking the horn kind of saved him.
It did a little bit, yeah, because it went to go, but it also killed Martin. So
Martin kind of took both of them, tried to take it out with him.
Yes,
and apologized to it. What?
Sorry, buddy. Um, yeah, no, I mean, look, so they fall off a cliff. Martin, the lion, and the truck all fall off a cliff, and I'm thinking, okay, come on, a regular lion's not getting up after that.
And it was halfway in the window, which means it should have been crushed
It
because that
should
truck
have been
rolled over.
crushed. Certainly, it should have been. So I'm thinking, okay, if you're going to be Mega Lion, this is your time to be Mega Lion.
And it
And
definitely
then,
was.
and then it went even further, and I was like, oh, now you have to be Super Mega Lion because you just got blown up as well.
Inferno.
Then this motherfucker comes back and he's barely got singes on him.
Just a clean shave.
Yeah, he's got some some black spots from
Soot.
the char, the soot. Yeah.
Look, that's how you can tell
Other
what they
than
did at
that,
that
it's
point.
totally fine.
Look, they CG'd a lioness and gave it male features at that point.
It's just crazy.
Mm.
What happened? It never happened. But yes. So Martin unfortunately dies in a fiery explosion, but Nate is able to get back to the girls, and this is where we cut to them driving the next morning, I guess in the morning.
Yeah.
And they're headed towards the village, towards the school. Sorry.
Mhm.
So they're going to go to the school that was next to the mining place on the way to the village. It was just one of those spots. And they're going to hide out there and maybe bunker down, maybe find some supplies, all of that kind of stuff. And they're also running out of gas. So that's the only place they can really find.
Yeah.
I
thought you were already in the building. I'm waiting till you get in the building. Then I'll
oh, yeah. So what's going on in the building is the poacher's den.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
The poacher's den that Nate decides, let's open all the windows and the doors because there's no smell coming out of here.
Oh, yeah. The smell of dead flesh. Yeah.
Dead lion flesh. Yeah. No way.
Right.
The cat's going to smell that.
Right. Yes.
You know,
yes.
the cat
and they
that can
did
smell
leave
shit
the
for a few miles off.
They left the front doors wide open.
Both sides, front and back doors were open.
Yeah.
He opened the window. I was like, oh, you're inviting him. Got it.
Yeah. Maybe, they were going to trap it, but no. Mm-hmm. They just didn't think that it could cross a mountain, apparently, which is what it did.
Because that was the part that did irritate me. Because at first I was like, they were in shock. They just weren't thinking. And then she goes, "How did it get here? It must have cut through the mountain." Of course, it cut through the mountain.
How else did it get here? Maybe it drove. I mean, we are dealing.
Did
with
you think it was
going
to follow the road, buddy? Like, come on. Certain things have to be like thought through sometimes. Like.
Mm-hmm. But again, so we get this sort of, not really a chase scene, but sort of a chase scene in the school. And finally, Idris Elba's like, you know what? Screw this.
It's not going to stop.
Yeah, it's never going to stop. I need to be the one. We got to lay the gauntlet down once and for all. This is it. And so he locks his daughters in, a safe area so that they can't be affected. And he's like, I got to go do this thing. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's probably what you need to do, right? If you got a psychopathic lion trying to hunt you, lock your daughters in a safe spot and hope that you can beat this thing.
No.
To which he definitely cannot beat this thing.
Let's go find the armory. How about that? Since we're at the poacher's place.
That's a good call. Maybe there's a gun closet with an elephant gun somewhere that would have taken it down. But no, Idris Elba only has a knife, and he decides that he's going to lure the lion to the pride that is previously shown in the movie when they're doing their little safari thing
into their territories.
Yes, it leads the rogue bad guy, smart lion, into the good lion's pride,
which was smart.
Which was a smart move for sure, but it also was like, dude, you got lucky.
Still gonna die.
He still should have been dead.
That thing literally ate like both kidneys.
It took his kneecap out.
His right leg,
his shoulder. Yeah, his leg should have been gone. His arms probably mangled to the point of not working.
If it wasn't CG, even if they had like a dummy on the ground and a real lion there. The way that lion was like wrapped its mouth around it, again, we know it wasn't a real lion, but the way the mouth was wrapped around it, it's like, come on, you guys got to show him lose a chunk or something.
Yeah. So he basically has a fist fight with a lion, which I think is the best part of the movie, to be honest, because this is what I'm here for. When I said I wanted to watch Idris Elba fight a lion, that's exactly what I wanted, and I got
That's what
that.
we
So
yeah.
thank
We
you.
all I think that's what we all wanted when we saw this trailer.
Yep. Wanted to see it happen. And it did
Mhm.
happen. And Idris Elba got his ass handed to him,
Yep.
which is pretty realistic. Not going to lie. Yeah, a lion's definitely going to beat somebody. So, what Idris Elba does is smart. He has the fight right in front of the other pride, and the other pride is kind of lazy. So,
They'll get there
they,
eventually.
yeah, they're going to get there. The males are going to get there eventually, but not before Idris Elba gets literally nearly mauled to death by the evil lion. But right at the last moment, the two good male lions come in and interfere, and that's when they rip up the evil, super smart genius
Mhm.
lion.
The evil genius. No,
Yes.
and I think that was again. You know what? He said it for me. I'll let you read that.
Mm. Let's see. So Corey says, I didn't buy that he'd be able to do anything with that knife. No. He
That's
should
not
have
a
been
knife.
able to hold it off at all. Yes. An IRL lions bite through their prey's spine.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Like right away. So it's not believable. Of
So
course it's
yeah,
not. It's
because the first thing
it's
they do is immobilize you.
yes. And so I think that this is where yes, if you don't categorize this movie as a B rated monster movie, you're not going to like it
Mhm.
because that's the way you have to see it. And of course, a lion would just make handiwork of Idris Elba with a knife any day.
Mangle.
But the movie wants us to have a hero at the end.
I just
But
want y'all to remember that
funny
is
enough,
not a knife.
the lion did actually get to the back of his spine at one point, and that should have definitely been a wrap. That should have
That was when
definitely
he
been a
had that
wrap.
open mouth grab on him.
Yes. Yeah.
The
Right.
CG lion was exhibiting real lion behaviors. They just didn't give the outcome.
Right. Right. Yes, because it definitely had his back, and that was a bad position for him. But again, B monster movie, the hero has to win even against all the odds. And I think even even LL Cool J lives in Deep Blue Sea, right?
Yes.
So
You
somebody's
know,
got to survive.
I'm glad you say that. Do
Yeah.
you know one of the things that most people say when it comes to Deep Blue Sea?
What?
The black guy doesn't die in this movie.
Oh yeah, he makes it all the way.
Makes it all the way.
Yeah.
And legitimately, even in my lifetime, that might have been the first time we all saw it. It was like, of course, it's LL Cool J,
Yeah, yeah. Against the shark, he has to fight a
coolest
shark.
rapper ever,
So
and he
that's
can
what
swim. What we talking about?
right. Yeah, he's a ship galleyman. He's like the
Yeah,
chef.
yeah,
Yeah. No, that's a great movie. But this is the way you have to. Not the way you have to, but this is the way I'm processing the movie is in the vein of Deep Blue Sea, where I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a cheesy sort of monster flick, and I'm not going to ask for realism because realism there would be no movie. Just be
right.
either the poachers shooting the lion or the lion killing them, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can admit I did expect a little more fantastical. When you got to the end, you realize like, oh, it wasn't as fantastical as I thought it would have been, but it was good to a
Hmm.
level.
Yeah. So thankfully, what is Homeboy's name? The dude that
Art
stays out of it.
Banji.
Bonji, yes. Bonji, thankfully, arrives at the last second once the good lions have taken out the bad lions and Nate
Right,
is basically dying.
man.
He
Nate
comes to
is
save the
literally
day.
right. Nate is literally within an inch of losing his life.
Yes, absolutely.
What also something I didn't like was we never see any residual from Mayor's injury.
Oh, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we just kind of see them in the hospital, right? And then
Yeah, in the
afterward,
hospital for him, and
yes,
then
in the
they're out
hospital
at
for us.
the tree. Mom's favorite tree. I can't remember the name of it.
Yes, yes. And so at the end, they all take a picture in front of this tree that they have a picture of their mother with. That was one of her favorite trees. She would go there all the time, and it's cute. It's a
Mhm.
cute little
That was
moment.
the shot when the birds came out. That was a great shot, and I truly
It's a
believe
very
that
good
that was a
shot.
real shot.
I would like to believe it was a real shot, but then
Yeah,
again, it's a CGI lion, so it could be
yeah.
CGI birds as well.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
agree that it's probably not, but it looked real. It looked believable, and I liked it.
It's a good shot. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely cool. And that's where we end the story. Not without Idris Elba making a couple jokes about how maybe we'll come back and have another lion vacation.
Right.
And he was asking about the lion in the hospital.
Good thing he's not that great in comedies. They don't put him in a lot of those.
I know, but he is funny. He was in The
I think he's
Office. He
funny.
was funny in The Office.
Oh my god, he was okay. You're right. I forgot he was
Yeah.
in The Office. He was
Hmm.
freaking hilarious in The Office. Actually,
Yes.
yeah, The Office is what made me realize, like, oh, this dude's funny. Like
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good actor when you can be a serious person, you can be in an action junk, you can be in the comedy joints, and it all translates.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he does a great job, and I enjoyed this film. Do you have any last thoughts before we give our ratings? Anything
Um,
else you wanted to bring
I
up?
didn't realize that I wanted this to be more fantastical, but I did enjoy it. Um, at a point, I needed a little more death than we got, which is kind of crazy to say. When they killed off Martin was a good thing in my opinion because again, you have this movie about an apex predator hunting down men and women, but humans. What do we know that can outlive an apex predator? Because apex predators are made, they're not born, right? From circumstance. They typically don't just stop. As he said
Mhm.
later, they don't just stop. Um, I appreciated that. They could have easily made it at some point where, oh, well, the lion's just not interested in humans anymore.
Oh no, he had to die.
It's got its fill.
And I'm hoping that we get a Beast 2 where it comes back to life
I
and
like
it's
that.
reanimated.
Yeah,
I'm
because we
down.
never see exactly. Oh, well, no, it's supposed to be mangled by the other lions.
Yes, maybe. But we never know. You didn't see it. It was off camera. So
Hey, listen, Scar
they
was the
could have been
main.
having a lion meeting.
Could have
Pardon
been
me.
having
They
a
could have been
lion.
having a lion meeting and conspiring on how to get back at humans.
Look, let's look
So
like we fighting. Let's look like
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
fighting.
yeah.
But as
We'll
soon as the rest of them
pretend.
show up, we're gonna get them.
Yeah. Corey says, pretty badass Scar stories. Yes, right up there with Crocodile Dundee's story. Where'd you get that? Yeah, I fought a lion hand to hand. It's dead. I'm
I'm
alive.
alive.
Yeah.
Right. That is a bad Scar. My bad. I misread that at first, Corey. I thought you were talking about Scar from Lion King.
Oh, yes.
Because imagine
Scar.
if this was what Scar did after he left Pride Rock. Instead of dying, when Scar leaves
Mm.
Pride Rock and then he, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
crazy. And that's
Absolutely.
why I thought it was funny to even reference that he looked like Simba for a minute because you consider this is pretty much what happened to Simba.
This is Simba during his lost years, right?
Yeah,
He
Simba the
went,
White Lion.
yeah, before. All right. Well, let's get to our ratings, I think, right?
Yes, indeed. I could start off with this.
Sure.
I enjoyed it. I actually think I'll watch this again. I'll definitely tell a few people to check it out because this is another. I think two movies back to back. We found movies that are worth talking about. Um, I'm gonna give this a 6. I feel like I might be overshooting, but I'll explain why I'm giving it a 6. Acting was good. Story was decent. We got everything we asked for. Outside of that, I enjoyed myself, so I'm gonna give it a 6.
Yeah. I think I'm probably around a 5 on this one. I didn't hate it. I thought it was decent. It's pretty much exactly what I expected, like what you said.
Hmm.
The only reason it's not a 6 or even maybe a 6.5 is because they didn't lean in enough on the evil lion
Yeah,
thing.
I
I
think
could
that would
have,
have gave it a 7 for me.
yeah, I would have been much happier. Like again, we're thinking of Cocaine Bear here, where it's just outrageous. Let's go there. Piranha 3D,
Yep,
Sharknado. Let's go
yep.
there. Um,
And Cocaine
so
Bear runs down an ambulance, so yeah.
right. So there you go. I mean, I'm definitely happy to have that. But I think where it's at, it's a passable movie. It's something that you would probably enjoy, but you're not gonna. I mean, it's not in the rotation with things like Jurassic Park or Jaws,
Right.
or even Deep Blue Sea. But it's
Wait, hold
it's
on,
an
wait.
homage to those things.
I might put it up there with Jaws. Not
Uh,
Jaws 1, not Jaws
yeah,
1, but any of the
yeah,
sequels.
maybe Jaws 3, Jaws 3, maybe.
Not a big
Yeah.
Jaws 3 fan, but I get you.
Right. No, but I think it's about a 5 for me. It's pretty middle of the road. There's nothing too offensive about it. Again, there could have been some better aspects to it, but for a low budget movie that was, just trying to do something pretty simple, I think it executed it just fine. And I don't think there's anything to turn my nose up at. It's certainly not a pretentious mess like some of the movies we've reviewed, and it's obviously not a movie of the year material. So
Right. Yeah. I can honestly say that for sure. If this were even considered for movie of the year, I might take a year off of listening to what the other critics
yeah,
think at this point.
I think this year we usually do our best and worst, but we should try to create some sort of award show, and give nominations to the
I
best
like
and the
that.
worst this year. I think that'd be
Like that.
fun.
If wish we had did that last year, so Michelle Yeoh could have just cleaned up.
Right, I think she's already doing that, so she'll
Oh
be fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes she
yeah,
is.
yes,
Congratulations to
indeed.
her.
Yeah, great job to all of those people.
Mhm.
Cool, man. I think we're done. I think we got Corey here. I think we got Big Mike here. What did you guys rate it? We're
Yeah, Corey, Mike, Ayla, what's your
interested in
rating?
hearing what you guys think. Anybody who wants to put that out there, we'll be here for another few. How Corey's got it. Corey says it's a 5 out of 10. I did enjoy it, but I was seeing too many things that I think they really could have written and shot better. Yes, i.e., they really should have had people's eyes glued to the line. In my
I would
opinion,
have.
yes. Situational
Yeah.
awareness was definitely low in this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only with Corey saying that, it just made me think. I don't know if I like or dislike the lack of survival instinct. Again, I kept thinking to myself, first world people don't do shit like that. Uh, but then again, sometimes they do because they just aren't thinking and they think they have it all figured out already. So
Yes. If you don't think first world people don't do that or do that, you can check out all of the videos that Yellowstone has, where they have all of those people coming out of their cars to take a selfie with a bear or a buffalo or whatever, and end up getting mauled by the animal.
I just watched one where a lady and somebody were switching. They were switching seats. I think this is an old one that had came out, and a tire just pops out and drags her into the bush. And then everybody gets out of her car, running after her, and you see the rangers in they're like driving across the safari as fast as they can. And they're going and they're
Yeah.
just like trying to get there, like yo.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's rough, man. That being said, we need more evil animal movies. So
agreed.
let's figure that out.
With you saying that, for those who have never seen the Netflix series Zoo, I don't even know if it's still on there. But that was a pretty good one until it wasn't.
Yeah, that was where all the animals turned on humans, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Let us know what you guys think about the movie in the comments if you'd like. Want to give a very special thank you to Corey, to Big Mike, and to Ayla for tuning in with us, for commenting along. Again, Keelan and I have been just doing this for fun for a couple years, to stay in touch with each other and to have an activity to do things as friends. And we never really thought people would be watching it. So we're just very thankful that you guys take your time to interact with us and watch. So thank you very much. It means a whole lot to both of us. And yeah, we're trying to build our audience out. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider giving us a subscription. We will try to make it worth it for you. We do episodes every Wednesday and Sunday at 8:30 p.m. You can check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Rumble at Screen Time Continuum. We also have a network of podcasts that we do. Tuesday nights is If Numbers Could Talk with Keelan at 8 p.m. Wednesdays and Sundays here, Screen Time Continuum. You know what that is. Twitch is for Thursdays is Strawberries and Coffee with Dijon, and also Big Mike's King of _ Ilion, or King _ Ilion. I'm going to get him to change that someday. But that's on Twitch. You can go check both of them out on Twitch on Thursdays. They also have YouTube channels you can check out as well under the same name. Friday night is Exofathom at 8 p.m. I think we're going to talk about the forbidden fruit this week. So you can have a conversation with us about that if you prefer. That's 8 p.m. at Exofathom on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Verbal, Odyssey, something like that. Yeah, we're going to talk about the forbidden fruit. What was it? Was it an apple? Was it a fig? Was it language? Immortality,
Was it
all that stuff.
knowledge?
Yes, was it knowledge? And then Saturday mornings to wrap up your weekend or start your weekend, really. You got Keelan and Bobby with This Married Moment. You can go check them out on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Spotify. Saturday mornings between 10 a.m. and noon at This Married Moment with Keelan and Bobby. Go check them out. And then be back here for Sunday for The Last of Us, the finale, episode 9. Are we excited? Are we not entertained?
Yeah.
We're semi-tained.
Depends on how many infected they give us in the finale.
We're tained. Okay, gotcha. Thanks, guys, so much. We really appreciate it. Have a great night. For Screen Time Continuum, I am Nick.
And I am Keelan. Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys.
Good night.